Say a few words.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Well, I'll stand up so everyone can see me. No craning that have to be had at the back. And it's lovely to be back in Cambridge. I can actually remember it is almost a year ago that we were standing dodging the bicycles somewhere outside of college. I've forgotten which college now. Saying, you know, we can elect a Green on the City Council, and of course we did. And I think we've already seen the impacts of that in terms of impacts on fossil fuel divestment, pushing the City Council to do that, the City of Sanctuary. But of course, one person is carrying a huge load. If we can increase the number of Greens on the City Council in this election, as I very much believe we can, then we can achieve so much more. And what that really reflects is what's happening up and down the country. We're seeing the Green surge of last year, when membership more than trebled, and we got 1.1 million votes in the general election. Lots of people don't know that that was more votes than we got in every previous general election added together, cumulatively. That really shows you the scale of last year's achievement in the general election. But of course, we have our long existing, largely unchanged first-past-the-post electoral system. Now, if we had a proportional representation election system in Westminster, Caroline Lucas would have 24 fellow Green MPs. So first past the post is a real problem, but we know that we can beat it. We've beat it up and down the country, and indeed we're increasingly beating it after the Green surge. Just in the last few months, we've actually won 2 county council by-elections, the most recent one in Shropshire, which completed the set that we now have elected representatives in every county in the West Midlands. We never used to win county council by-elections. We certainly never used to win county council by-elections where they were our first seat on the council. So that's showing how politics has changed. There really is a different feel to politics. People are really getting engaged in politics, saying, we're not going to have business as usual, we want something different. And I think that's really what's here on this manifesto that we're launching today, a real vision of Cambridge. We know that we're going to see real change in Cambridge. Cambridge is going to see significant growth. That's inevitable. But the question is, what kind of growth will it be? Will it be a growth in which we protect, improve the quality of the air? Will we have streets that are comfortable to walk and cycle on, that people feel like that's a natural way to get around? Will we have houses, not just houses built, but houses built that people can actually afford to live in? Houses for people, not houses that are mostly treated as financial assets. There's a huge possibilities, a huge potential for change. And it's really so exciting. It's in all of our hands. And one of the things that people still say to me, oh, well, the Green Party, you're so much bigger now, but you don't have a lot of money. And I will admit that sometimes we'd like to have a bit more money. But what we have, and in some ways I think it is more valuable, is energy, enthusiasm, determination. And that really is key, because up and down the country, in all sorts of different places, you go from Bristol, where we've got a situation where we could get a score or more councillors on the council, kind of scale that we've never seen, kind of leap we've never seen before. Places like Norwich, where we're looking to grow our representation after we've been the official opposition on the council for a long time. But also places somewhere like Sunderland, where we've really only had a party for a year or so. We're really getting going, getting started. The Green Party is now truly a national party, and we are aiming to really deliver results in these coming elections in May. Though I do also have to mention, because it is really important, and I say this in every speech I give, you'll find, those of you who've either got very good eyesight or are sitting in the front row will be able to see I'm wearing a little badge, Greens for a Better Europe. And indeed that was the subject I was talking about this morning. And I think it's really important to stress that, in some ways when we all heard that the referendum was going to be for more than a month after the council election, we all thought, oh, where are we going to find the energy? But actually we can tie these two things together, and the referendum has enormous potential. I've just come back from 3 days up in Scotland, around Glasgow and Paisley and environs. And up there, the level of political engagement really is just on a different scale to it is across most of England. And that, of course, is a large part in the result of their referendum, their independence referendum. And this is a big question we're asking in this referendum, a question that's going to have impact for decades, impact particularly on young people's lives, the whole of their lives before them. So I really would urge everybody, when you go out on the doorstep, when you're talking to friends and relatives and workmates and union colleagues, to actually make sure that of course I know you're going to be telling them to vote Green in the City Council elections, but also make sure that you bring up the referendum as well. While you're on politics, you might as well, tick off the full lot. Because, we can also use this referendum to get more people really engaged in the political process. Really critically importantly, to get more people registered to vote. Because, when you think about it, David Cameron, when he changed the system for electoral registration to cut in a system that's cut so many young people off the electoral roll, he really was shooting himself in the foot when it came to the referendum. But we really care about this referendum, we care about the result. And if we say to people, make sure you're registered to vote, and the deadline to be registered to vote for the City Council elections is April 18, we get people registered to vote by then, even if they're mostly thinking about the referendum, there's a good chance the sort of people we can enthuse about the referendum might just go and vote in the City Council elections too. So it's not an either-or game, it's adding the sum of both together. So it's really important. And, when people say to you, why should you vote Green? We've got a great manifesto here, and that has plenty of local answers. But there's also the point that people know that when they're voting Green, they know what the values and principles they're voting for, what the Green Party stands for, what it has always stood for, what it always will stand for. We stand for a society that works for the common good within our environmental limits. And that environmental limits part first to start off with, really, that's not politics. We have to do that, that's physics. But we're the only party that really understands the need for a transformation in our society to head very quickly. We need to head in that goal. But we also understand, as the Green Party's always said, that economic and environmental justice are indivisible. We have to tackle this great injustices in our society. I was really pleased to see a focus in homelessness in this manifesto. The fact that so many people in our society are struggling to keep food on the table, keep a roof over their head, in what is a wealthy society. We've got practical solutions, local solutions, but as the front of this says, we also think globally. We think about the future, we think about a system that works for people and planet. So I want to thank everyone for coming along today, to say good luck in the elections, and just to leave you with a final thought that probably most of you know that Oscar was elected by 7 votes last May. I can also cite a remarkably similar case that Caroline Russell, who is the opposition on Islington Council, there's 47 Labour councillors and her. She was also elected by 7 votes. And in her case, because it was a seat where the Lib Dems were sitting, the Lib Dems were only about 20 votes behind Labour, who finished second. It was an extremely hard-fought seat. So, everyone in this room, when it's, getting a bit cold, possibly getting a bit wet, and your feet are hurting a little bit, do what you can. That one extra door you knock on, that one extra leaflet you get out, might be one of those 7 votes to do it again. And that will be such a difference when we grow our strength on the City Council. So thank you, good luck, and I look forward to having a chat later. Cheers.